Hello, welcome to the channel. I am Apollinaria. I am a spiritual guide and facilitator. I've been practicing a variety of spiritual modalities and self-help modalities over the span of 15 plus years, including the pendulum, which is a tool that I've been using for the past 7 years. It is a tool that is very near and dear to my heart. It was the first time that I experienced real, palpable, tangible evidence of the unseen, immaterial dimensions engaging directly with the material, seen dimensions. It was a threshold moment for me when I first started using this tool. And since then, it's become surprisingly crucial to my practice. And there is a real blatant lack of good information and good introduction to this tool online, at least in my experience. To be fair, I haven't looked super lately, so definitely no shade to anyone. But let's get some more information out there, right? I want to share my perspective on the pendulum. I want to tell you how to use it. I want to talk to you about how it works and how to expect it to work and how it works for me. Let's start by talking about how to set up and how to get started using the pendulum. First, you're going to want to, as with any spiritual tool, reset it energetically, cleanse it, and then set the intention for it. Specifically, set an intention for it to be used as a conduit and as a tool of communication with your higher self and nothing else, right? Use whatever method works for you. You know, you can visualize it, you can use props, you can use candles, you can smudge it, you can use incense or anything else, whatever works for you. Just cleanse the pendulum when you first get it of any energy. I personally I'll actually usually use incense of some kind, and I'll just visualize the incense clearing all of the energy out. And then I will set the intention of this tool being used only between myself and my higher self. And then I will personally feel that clicking in, that intention locking in and permeating this object. And then I know it's good to go. But use whatever method resonates with you, whatever works for you. Don't overthink it. Trust your intention. Trust in what's happening. If you want, feel free to cleanse it every time you use it or regularly until you feel like it's completely set in. But that's all you need to do to make sure that the tool is ready for you to use. After that, we are going to set the pendulum to show you yes or no. Now, before I go into this, I do want to say I don't know exactly how it works. This is a little bit more, I don't know exactly how the computer works, but I know how to use it, so I'm showing you how to use it, that kind of thing, I know that it works, I know how to use it, and I'm here to show you that. As far as how it works, my general understanding and sense is that your energetic field includes, but is not limited to, your body, right? It's much larger than your body, than your physical self. It contains your physical self, and your physical self is an expression of your energetic field and also a conduit for your personal energetic field, for your larger energetic field and its intelligence, right? Which is what we refer to as our higher selves. Tools like the pendulum, tools such as tarot cards, tools such as runes or charm casting, anything like that, they all kind of operate on the same principle. They operate by using the technology that is your body as a vessel for both your larger energetic field and your intention and the place where the two meet. And so the physical objects interact with the subtle way that the energy moves and meets inside of you in real time. And that's how these tools work. Again, that's at least my sense and understanding of it at this point. All I know is, for sure, is that it works. I've actually also seen people, rather than use a pendulum, just use their body. I've seen people assign, like how people assign to different movements on the pendulum yes or no. I've seen people assign like yes or no to like a snap, and like depending on how they snap, like they'll know if it's a yes or a no. So, you know, all the different tools, all the different ways to work with this energy, with divination, you know, it's all kind of universal. But with that being said, let's get to calibrating this pendulum. So before I start using this, I do want to say that the first time that I used a pendulum, and it wasn't even a pendulum, it was just like a little necklace with a charm on it, right? The first time I used it, it was a very subtle movement. It was literally just enough for me to see that it actually worked. These days, after 7 years of using it, the motion and the movement is a lot more intense on my pendulum, and I attribute that to it becoming significantly more attuned and calibrated to both my body and my energetic system, and this being a kind of like mutual calibration between my pendulum and I, so like things can get a little bit more intense and visible. So that being said, when you're starting to work with your pendulum, start by asking it to show you yes and asking it to show you no. So I'll demonstrate here. This one is really long. It's a little too long for me, especially with how much mine moves. So I'm gonna go over here and say, pendulum, can you show me yes? And mine does this really annoyingly dramatic counterclockwise position movement. And show me no. And then it goes counterclockwise. Some people also set theirs for a maybe. I have done that. I don't do that. I haven't done that in a while. And then also you can use the pendulum to show you like different directions or different options. So like, for example, you know, is this in shot? Yeah. Show me my pinky, right? Things like that, which can be helpful for like choosing between options. But when you're getting started with the pendulum, ask it to show you yes, ask it to show you no. If you want, ask it to show you maybe. And then work with it to like set a language. Every time you use it for a while, I want you to ask it to show you yes and no, because it changes. Because I think your energetic field changes, and therefore your pendulum can like, you know, especially when you're first getting started using it, it can like just take a second to fully calibrate to your field, but then also just over time, as your energetic field shifts, as you shift and change, your pendulum will also sometimes just need to change to adjust for that. So every time that you use your pendulum for a while until you feel completely comfortable and like kind of set with the answers, ask it to show you yes or no. And then once you feel like totally comfortable, you're set, this is just what your pendulum does every time. Then just, you know, if it ever starts getting a little like funky, if the answers stop like making sense or like hitting if they start feeling wrong, then ask it again to show you yes or no, because in my experience, that is not infrequently a time when like your energetic field has changed. The polarities of your energetic field have changed. I don't know, but like that's what it seems like. That's what it feels like to me. Yeah, so sometimes your energetic field will change and the pendulum will change along with it, almost like a systems update on your computer, you know? All right, now that we basically understand how to get going and get started and the technicalities of the pendulum, let's talk about how to actually use it, right? The pendulum is a tool that I absolutely swear by. It has become shockingly crucial in my practice for such like an undersung hero. It has been a lifesaver for me. Like not being dramatic, for real. It's really, really, really become a wildly useful tool for me. So I want to describe the ways that I use it. First of all, I use it and have used it to attune more deeply to my intuition. And second of all, I use it to access my intuition when my body and my nervous system, for whatever reason, is too activated to be a clear channel and vessel for my intuitive information and feedback. So let's start with the pendulum as a tool to attune to your own intuition. So the pendulum is going to give you yes or no, or I guess maybe answers, right? So instead of asking the pendulum, what you could do is ask yourself the same question, especially if you have any kind of experience meditating, which I recommend everyone does at some point, right? Especially if you have experience with meditation, what you can do instead of using the pendulum, or what you can graduate from the pendulum to be able to do, is at any time, take a moment, still your awareness, and then drop into your awareness the question that you have. So maybe it's something along the lines of, is this the right path for me to take? And just drop it in. And then you can either hear or see or sense or feel the answer, right? And when you're doing this, what you are doing is engaging with your own higher self, with your own larger field of intelligence and awareness, which sees and understands beyond your own five senses and their limitations, and you're using that connection to navigate this life more effectively. That's how all divination works. To go into that a little bit further, you can look at a video that I'll link right over here, somewhere over there. I'll link my intro to divination video. But I'm just going to leave it there for now, right? That's how all divination works. So then the pendulum is your tool. It can functionally be your tool for affirming whether or not what you're perceiving is an actual yes, is an actual no, is an actual maybe. It helps you attune to and calibrate to this internal intuitive sense and this internal, easily accessible, always present navigational, existential GPS system. And that is a tremendously valuable practice, right? So you can either just use the pendulum, or you can be using the pendulum to graduate from the pendulum, basically, and just access that internal feedback, which is always available. Another way that I use the pendulum, or the other way that I mainly use the pendulum, is when my body or my nervous system is a little too activated or triggered or scared or strained to be a functional and coherent and clear vessel for that intuitive feedback, right? And I don't know about you, but when I'm experiencing that degree of strain, that's usually when I need divination the most. That's usually when I need guidance the most, right? So the pendulum is wonderful for when you are so activated, so triggered, so strained, and especially if you're so strained and so pressed that the idea of actually regulating your system is way out of reach. And you just need to you just need to navigate your way out of the shit that you are stuck in, right? That you are crawling through. That's when the pendulum is also incredibly helpful. And to me has been an actual lifesaver, That's when you're say there's options in front of you and you don't know what to do. And you're so scared, and maybe there's an opportunity in front of you and you're terrified and you don't know if you should do it, and then you can ask the pendulum and then it'll show you, yes, this is actually the path through. And you're okay, great, this is the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step, and then you will find your way out of it to a more regulated state where you do have that internal intuitive navigational system back, where you are more regulated, where you are more calm, where your nervous system is more regulated, and you are a functional vessel for that intuition and that internal navigation. I will actually probably make an entire video on clearing out trauma out of the system and just managing trauma in your body, in your system, because that is so fundamentally vital to not just divination, but to anything, like pretty much everything that you could possibly want and need to do as a sovereign and capable and empowered individual. So look out for that. I am planning on doing that sometime soon. But yeah, but basically, that's the foundations, that's the fundamentals of how the pendulum works and how I work with it, and how I have found a lot of success and use and value in working with it. That being said, when you actually start using the pendulum, your personal conversation, your personal navigation with the pendulum, your personal flow with the pendulum is going to be completely unique to you, right? And it's going to be an ever deepening and enriching conversation between you and your higher self. So play around with it. You know, there's no way I could possibly communicate to you like the actual depth of this practice and this conversation in just this like video going over the fundamentals. But take this with you, start playing around with the pendulum, start practicing, start learning, start growing, start evolving with it. And yeah, I hope you have so much fun, and I hope that it really serves you the way that it's really served me. And yeah, I think that's it for the day. I will also link the video for my divination, my introduction to divination, at the end of this video, just in case, just because a lot of this, the way that I work with the pendulum is, you know, built off of my fundamental relationship with divination, which I go over there. So yeah, that's it for the day. If you like the video, comment and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.